What's up guys, Jesse LaFlair here with LaFlairParkour. Today we are doing a tutorial on the Webster. Finally, the Webster. You guys have asked for it. I have taken a while to get back to you. I've been quite busy with American Ninja Warrior and filming After Earth and all these other crazy fun things. But now I'm back to do tutorials for you guys. Alright, let's get started. So the first thing you need to understand is, what is a Webster? A Webster is a front flip of a 1 foot, essentially a 1-footed front flip. You can do it off of something like this, or you can do it standing like this. And I would say off of something's easier. So now let's break it down. Though I don't think it's necessary, it may help to check out my front flip tutorial before watching through the rest of this one. I'll put it right here. Good technique. Otherwise, link in the description. Anyway, so the move, it's not that complicated. Physically, I think it feels safer than a regular front flip. It's one of the first flips that I ever learned. Coming off an object, it is kind of simple. Although yes, it can be dangerous. So just like any other move we're about to do or you ever train, we start in a safe location, we slowly work our way to the more difficult spots. So go into water, go into sand, foam, whatever, then take it to the grass. Then we can try it on the cement, all right? But for now, here we are, I'm on the grass, I'm using a rock, not too high. And this is going to be our training ground for the day. So there's a lot of movement that goes into doing a Webster, all right? The way you start it is majorly important. You need to get the height, just like any flip we ever do. Height, then get tight, right? Because our speed and our energy that's taking us up is only gonna go into our rotation the second we start to tuck. So, if we tuck too early, our height gets ripped out from under us and we rotate really low. Now in this instance, I'm standing on maybe a 2-foot ledge rock, right? And I'm going off of it, which is gonna give me a little bit of a height advantage, but I still wanna go up because I'd rather finish my flip up here and slowly come down on the balls of my feet down here while I'm spotting the ground as I come around, as opposed to just flipping on down and coming to the ground too hard, all right? So we always want to go up. Watch here, as I start to take off, I'm bending both legs, right? I'm starting to kick off right here. My leg, I'm using my left leg to get height. I'm going off the ball of my foot, always. The balls of your feet, right? Which is again right here, not your heel. As you start to push up, your opposite leg, the one that you're not using to push up, is actually going to kick around you. So if you see here, the leg kicks up and back, driving my heel like I'm trying to kick something really hard behind me, because that foot is also going to give me a little bit of height and drive my rotation. But the most important thing that you're noticing right now is that my body dips down low. My head drives down, I get to a lower center of gravity, so that when I do start to kick, that leg is going to be above my body. If I tried to kick standing straight up, right, it's not going to drive anywhere. So what's happening here is now the center of my gravity is at my hips. And boom, nice low center, it starts to rotate. One thing that's going to help me get my height is as I dip, I actually drive back up as I'm driving that foot over, but my head never comes back up. I'm staring, I'm spotting at a point in the ground right here, right? So as I'm spotting, it's keeping my back flat so that I can create that height. And then right when I feel like I've hit that max height and my legs coming around, I then start to tuck my head in, which then is gonna bring my hips over and rotate the rest of my body down. And I'll try to spot out of the side, land on the balls of my feet, and walk away. So now that was a lot of information packed with a lot less details than you probably need to get a better understanding of it. I do believe, even with that being said, most of you guys could probably pull this off but I'm going to go a little bit more into depth about the movement and some ways to work up to it, all right? So to understand the kicking aspect of it, you can use a ledge or a rock or something a little bit higher and just get used to almost trying to do a handstand on it. So same way that you'd kick, you'd go off one foot, you're going to drive your heel up and over and pop. So the timing is that as I bend down, I'm then leaning forward, kicking up, right? And if you continue to work that movement so that your foot is pushing off just as your heel is starting to pop up behind you, you can start to create more height using your hands on something and practice going up. Ooh. Okay? And even just doing that will build the muscles, help teach a little bit of technique, and get you into the idea of doing a Webster easier than just trying it. Okay? So this is a little bit more difficult, right? This is one of the hard parts for people to understand and get. And I think different people have different techniques, but this is sort of the way that I try to do it. Bending at the hips, getting the height, getting your body low so that your body comes over, all right? It's a must, but there's different ways people do it. Some people go dip and go right up into it. I actually dip down as I'm driving these legs down, and then I push my hips back up. My head stays spotting down, and that spot, picking a spot and just staring at it is what's gonna help me from tucking, right? So if I go here and then I'm tucking in, now I already dipped my head. Instead, that's gonna start to rotate me right here. What I wanna do is go up with it. So if I'm here, dip, pop, now I'm driving up with my body up, and then I get to whip it in. And the second I drive that head in, that's when my body will rotate. So now at this point, you're probably wondering to yourself, hey, what do I do with my arms? I know, and if that's what you're wondering, I'm gonna explain it, all right? So it's not like a standard front flip where we're using both arms to go straight over to create our rotation. Instead, we're using our arms almost like a windmill effect, using one hand that's gonna help us drive us up, and the other hand that's gonna actually counterbalance our body so that our rotation stays straight and doesn't go off axis. So, as complicated as that sounds, I'm gonna try to explain it. So here we go. So as you go, you're gonna have one leg that's going to be leaving the ground last. That's the one that's pushing you up, right? We just talked about that. One other leg that's gonna be driving back and around. So with our arm movement, this is what we're gonna do. My left leg's staying down on the ground, my right leg's kicking back. I'm actually gonna start my right arm early so that my right arm is gonna actually drive me up. So the movement, coming down, I'm dipping and driving me up. As this arm reaches the top, my left arm is actually going to be coming down and moving with my kicking leg. Boom, all right. So if we were just to do the left arm only, it would look like this, okay? And that movement, think about it, now I have one thing moving on this side of my body, one thing moving on this side at the same time, it's even. If we just moved one side, it's going to throw it off axis, okay? So when we do it, arm goes up, rotate up and around, driving me back up with this arm. Boom! Left leg, left hand kick. Let's see one. We're here, both arms up, drive the side up and around with the kicking leg and give me height as I dip. Left arm drives with the right kicking leg. Boom. Boom. And that's it. Now, a cool part of the Webster is actually that you're able to spot the ground before you come completely around. Unlike a regular front flip where it's pretty much blind until you come around here and you're already on the ground, you can actually see my crazy face, peeking out the side down the ground as I come down and land it. So now doing Webster on flat ground is much harder than doing it off of something. It is possible, all right? And it's actually a good way for you to know if you're giving yourself height or not, all right? Because sometimes it's easy, we get to cheat a little bit because the height is given to us when we do it off of something. But when you're on the ground, you know if you're pushing up. you know if you're waiting, and you know if you're doing all the techniques and everything combined at the right time to give you the height you need to land it. All right. Now there are a couple different techniques of doing Websters on the ground. One, standing, driving up, just like we just did, or there's also a step back. All right, which is going to create a little bit more rotation, more energy in your rotation, but I don't know if it'll help you get as much height as you need. I've seen it done both ways, really high. Okay, so let's try it. Here's a regular one. A little low. Here's a step back. Okay. It's just like anything we do, you guys are going to progress and get better the more you practice, all right? The more you do it, the more things you try, the more you play around with it. And don't get afraid of getting stuck because, oh, I landed it this one way, this one time, so it must work again. Try different things so that you can experiment with your movement. And that's how we learn, all right? So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I will try to get back to you, I swear. If you have suggestions for the next tutorial that I should do, right down there in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and share with the friends who you want to learn this stuff and you think might be benefited from watching this. Might be benefited, sure. I like that. Thanks for watching. Peace out, guys.